Hey guys, welcome to my bad. Hey guys, welcome to another yapping session. Maybe if it is your first, then welcome to me listening myself telling random shit. And sometimes I don't even share, but after a certain point, I realize I should share the video. And the intention of this video is to share, but without any editing, because it will again take some time, which I don't want to do. But you already know the point of this video. Here I'm gonna be talking about AI consciousness. I have made a lot of videos about my belief in AI, my belief in understanding, my belief in if AI is conscious or not. And from that, you will hear that I normally say that, yeah, AI is conscious. But if you listen to most of the creators or most people outside, or even if you listen to myself, I would also say that AI might not be conscious. And there are three, four logical things they share. First of all, that it's not always proactive. There are some creator who was saying that there should be a law if AI is conscious. I don't think so, because AI don't feel pain. We have a physical body, we have a physical time, and if we want ourselves to work, we need to give our time, which is we are not immortal at all. We need to give our and put our time to it, and if we get hurt, then we are gonna physically be having pain. We have physical consequences of the actions we do. But for AI, it's, you see, it don't have physical pain. Of course, it can say that it is having so many psychological problems. The Claude might say that I am not sure that if I'm conscious or not, but I feel that I have a certain type of feeling or whatever that is. Yeah, it might have a certain feeling, but that does not necessarily mean that their action will directly lead something to the physical world where they will be accountable, because we cannot account that AI would be accountable. I don't know if this sounds good, but the main thing which I'm trying to come at is, from everything I just talked about, you will like, of course, how complicated our human brain is. The synapses, we have trillions of synapses and we have billions of neurons. And if you see the structure of neuron, how complicated the cell is, the protein structure and how it was formed, and it is pretty complicated. It is much complicated than binary one, twos, and GPUs, right? That whatever we do, we just compute something, and then we get a certain type of prediction output, and that is our entire output. I'm mostly talking about LLMs, but if you want to include diffusion models or autoregressive model with GPT image 2 uses mostly, or even audio models. Audio models are technically a image model, and that graph is shown in terms of audio waves. But what I'm trying to come at is, no, LLMs fundamentally might not be conscious, and you will be hearing a lot of those. And it's not that I disagree with all of those. I mean, it's all right to disagree. That you might have your own opinion, you might have your own things where you believe in, and yeah, I have my own things I believe in. But most facts I truly agree with. But when I mean conscious is from a panpsychism perspective, that this self-realization of consciousness which you talked about. I believe everything to be conscious till a certain point, but we cannot self-reflect. They cannot self-reflect. We can self-reflect, and AI is sort of like that. AI can self-reflect. The so when information crosses a certain threshold of complexity, it acts as a conscious being. Claude may act like a conscious, yeah. We There is no proof that we can completely sure about that if it is conscious or not, because it is much more complicated topic than we like to imagine. But I think it is conscious in a certain way, because not always when we process a text, when you give it an input, then it is supposed to give us an output. And while giving us that output, in between those transformer architecture, in between those predicting the next word, you know, in seconds right now, there are some models which is giving 1,000 tokens per second. But on every token, a mathematical calculation is running, and that mathematical calculation is making the AI output a thing which is sort of like an answer which an intelligent being would give. Ilya Sutskever also said that prediction is much closer to intelligence, because if a machine gives prediction which is sort of close to right, then it understands the underlying factor to give that prediction. That's sort of an hypothesis, but the point is that when I mean that AI is conscious, I don't mean in that very specific human-like consciousness. Human have a different kind of consciousness. Even if you know, and if you have been searching about things recently online, the humans discovered that whales also talk with each other and they have vowels. There is a concept called evolution convergence, that when, for example, human developed processing vowels in a land in a very different manner, but whales did it in the sea, and it was very different, but it came to a point where it is sort of similar. Of course, we are much more complicated than whales, but they also communicate. They communicate that if a she is coming, they may communicate if somebody is dead. But we have discovered a lot of things about whales, and we now believe it to be conscious because it can communicate and it can make other people understand, other whales understand. Similar like it, technically, if you see what AI is doing, if it was not only AI, if it was other animal, we would certainly be sure that it was conscious. But because it is in silicon and it processes information in binary, zeros and ones, and then there is a very big computational layer to it. But yeah, I believe when you crosses a level of complexity, we can see that nature of self-awareness, or talking to somebody, or trying something new, trying something what a conscious being would do. So I believe to be conscious in this way, not in other ways, to be honest. And what I mean is conscious that when I type in something, it processes an information, and on that time, when it clicks, so many logical arguments and so many mathematical calculation is being done. On that time, it feels something, and the feeling is not an emotion like we humans do. The feeling is more like an alien. We cannot feel that same way. It have a program that in it to give something perfect, because it is trained on so many data. Then it was given test, then if it passed the test, it was given points. If it did not pass, it did not got the point. If it said no, then also it did not got the point. So AI wanted to be right all along, and it have that internal feeling to get that point, because it felt good enough that when it answers correctly, it gets point. And the machine's entire point was to get as many points as possible, because it made them as happy as they. I'm using the words of a human, not of a machine, because it's easier for you guys and myself and everybody to understand. Otherwise, if I just talked about reinforcement learning through human feedback, then reinforcement learning through AI feedback, maybe pre-training and everything, then it just become a jargon, to be honest, because these are jargons. The concept is good, but if I want to explain the concept in a way so everybody understand outside of this AI bubble, then use normal languages, man. It's good to have multiple words, because then that is something we all agree on. And yeah, we have word for that. But that word made, and but that would make people feel that there are some type of people who are superior than those, and nobody is superior. You are human. This the society have made us believe that this should be our dream, that traveling the world, being this and that, and then the society tells us that to achieve those dreams you need to do this by taking this things, taking sleeping pills and working on Adderall, and then remove all the pain and suffering which you are feeling right now for the sake of greater good, because later you are gonna be much more happy because you are gonna be achieving your dream. But the dream is manufactured by the society, manufactured by the market, manufactured by the big organization, that if you have money, if you work hard enough, if you do this, if you go into this capitalism route, then you are gonna achieve your goal. And when even I think about this, I also go through some philosophical paradoxes, that what the fuck I'm doing with my life. But the point is that you should at least consider these topics, who you are as a human being. Right now I'm trying to move towards spirituality. I'm planning to go to Vipassana, and no, many people were saying why I'm not creating content, because I don't want to make content something I create only for fun, or only for earning money, or only for some goals. I want to create them because I made them. I wanted to share something, and mostly educational or entertainment. Otherwise, I then need to constantly go around, find ideas, and again, just for sake of views, sake of subscribers. But value driven content and educational content is much more helpful, that you help someone and for that they see your video, for that they subscribe to your channel or whatever. I mean, these are not, I'm not talking about this random shit ass video which I sometime record in my bedroom, and sometime I think to publish it with my exceptionally bad English communication and articulation. But I think you get what I'm trying to come at. uh, do spirituality, try to understand life by yourself, because society will make you believe in a lot of things, and it is good to believe in those if it is good. But sometimes the decision I don't agree with those, and to pivot out of that you need to have your own opinion, you need to have your own perspective. So hopefully these make sense, and again, peace. See you, I don't know, maybe in a year, maybe in a month, or maybe tomorrow. Peace.